Over the world.
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 I warmly welcome you to my new channel, and I hope with all my heart that you will have a good time here. And if you feel fun while watching my channel, please click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. This new channel was opened for 2 reasons. The first, to make you feel entertained, learn, have fun and discover new things. Second, to help my parents pay for my university studies. Thanks for your time.
The ancient Maya civilization flourished in the jungles of present-day southern Mexico, Belize, and Guatemala. The Classical Archaic Maya, the height of their culture, occurred between 300 and 900 AD before turning into a mysterious decline. Maya culture has always been a mystery, and even experts disagree about certain aspects of their society. What facts are now known about this mysterious culture? In this video, we will show you 10 of the most shocking facts about the mysterious Mayan civilization. 1. They were more violent than the original thought. The traditional view of the Maya was that they were a peaceful people, content to stare at the stars and trade with each other for beautiful jade and feathers. That was before modern scholars deciphered the ciphers they left behind on statues and temples. It turns out that the Maya were as fierce and warlike as their later neighbors to the north, the Aztecs. Scenes of wars, massacres, and human sacrifices were carved into stones and left in public buildings. The war between cities has become so bad that many believe it has much to do with the decline and eventual fall of the Maya civilization. 2. The Maya didn't think the world would end in 2012. As December 2012 approaches, many people have noticed that the Maya calendar will soon end. That's right, the Mayan calendar system was complicated, but to make a long story short, it was reset to 0 on December 21, 2012. It led to all sorts of speculation, from a new coming of Christ to the end of the world. But the ancient Maya, it seems, does not worry too much about what will happen when they are recalibrated. They may have seen it as a new beginning, but there is no evidence that they foresaw any disasters. 3. They had books. The Mayans were educated, had a written language and books. To the untrained, Mayan books look like a series of pictures, odd dots, and scribbles. In fact, the ancient Mayans used a complex language where the glyphs could represent an entire word or a syllable. Not all Maya peoples were literate. Books seem to have been produced and used by the priestly class. The Maya had thousands of books when the Spaniards arrived, but most of them were burned by zealous priests. Only 4 of the original Maya books, called codices, survive. 4. They practiced human sacrifice. The Aztec culture from central Mexico is usually those associated with human sacrifice, but this is probably because Spanish historians were there to witness it. It turns out that the Maya were bloodthirsty when it came to feeding their gods. The Mayan city-states frequently fought each other and many enemy warriors were captured. These captives were usually enslaved or sacrificed. High-ranking captives such as nobles or kings were forced to play in a ceremonial ball match against their captors, reenacting the battle they had lost. After the match, the score was predetermined to reflect the battle it was representing. 5. They saw their gods in the sky. The Maya were astronomers who kept detailed records of the movements of the stars, sun, moon, and planets. They kept accurate tables to predict eclipses, solstices, and other celestial events. Part of the reason for this detailed observation of the heavens was that they believed that the sun, moon, and planets were the gods moving back and forth between the heavens, the underworld, Xibalba, and the earth. Celestial events such as equinoxes, solstices and eclipses were marked by festivities in Mayan temples. 6. Their trade was on a large scale. The Mayas were keen merchants and traders and had trading networks throughout modern Mexico and Central America. They traded in kinds of items, prestige items and subsistence items. Subsistence items included basic necessities such as food, clothing, salt, tools, and weapons. Prestigious things were the things that the Maya coveted and that were not essential to everyday life: bright feathers, jade, obsidian, and gold are some examples. Things of value were cherished by the ruling class, and some rulers were buried with their possessions, giving modern scholars an idea of the life of the Maya, who traded extensively. 7. The Maya had kings and royal families. Every major city or state had a king, or a whore. The Maya rulers claimed to be directly descended from the sun, moon, or planets, which gave them a divine bloodline. Bearing the blood of the gods, the Ahau were an important conduit between the human realm, the heavens, and the underworld, and often had major roles in ceremonies. Ahau was also a wartime leader, expected to fight and play at a ceremonial ball game. When Ahau died, the custom passed on to his son. Although there were exceptions, there were even a handful of mighty Maya city-state queens. 8. Their book still exists. When we talk about the ancient Mayan culture, experts are generally captivated by how little is known today and how much has been lost. However, one striking document has survived, the Popol Vuh, a Mayan scripture describing the creation of mankind and the story of Hunahpu and Xpalanque, twins the hero, and their struggle with the gods of the underworld. Popol Vuh stories were traditional, and at one time written by Quiche Maya writer. In about 1700 AD, Father Francisco Ximenez borrowed this text, written in the Quiche language. He copied and translated it, and although the original was lost, Father Ximenez's copy survived. This priceless document is a treasure trove of the ancient Mayan culture. 9. Nobody knows what happened to them. In the year 700 AD or so, the Maya civilization was strong. Strong city-states were ruled by weaker followers, trade was active, and cultural achievements such as art, architecture, and astronomy reached their peak. But by AD 900, the classic Maya powerhouses such as Tikal, Palenque and Calcalcul had all fallen into decline and were soon abandoned. So what happened? Nobody knows for sure. Some blame war, others climate change, and still other experts claim it's disease or famine. Maybe it was a combination of all of these factors, but experts can't agree on that. 10. They still exist. The ancient Maya civilization may have fallen 1,000 years ago, but this does not mean that all people died or disappeared. Mayan culture still exists when the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the early 16th century. Like other American peoples, they were conquered and enslaved, their culture deprived, and their books destroyed. But the Maya proved more difficult to assimilate than most. For 500 years, they fought hard to preserve their culture and traditions, and today, in Guatemala, parts of Mexico and Belize, there are ethnic groups that still cling to traditions such as language, dress and religion that date back to the days of the mighty Mayan civilization.